6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
This program contains violent content which may be too intense for some. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you on this fine Saturday? Hope everyone is doing well. If you're in the Kansas or Oklahoma area and you're watching this, please be careful today. I see that there could be some extreme weather, so keep an eye on the forecast. I'm going to bring Andrea on. Hello, Andrea. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. Well, we're back doing Tabitha. Sorry that I had to take some time off. Got sick, and Andrea can tell you there's no way I could have read these documents.
No way.
Not with all the coughing I was doing.
No.
Today has been better. So here's hoping I'm on the tail end of this. And if you catch me looking off to the side and stuff, there are a lot of flies out right now, as there is in many areas. And I do have a fly swatter here with me, because there's one pesky one that is in the office. So just in case, be prepared. You might hear some hitting going on in this office today. So we are going to continue on our journey of Tabitha's story. And there it goes, buzzing my head. We are going to continue reading from the deposition of Kyle Neff. Now, if you watched the previous episode, we had a statement that was missing and we found it. So we'll be reading that after this. But, so we figured out where we left off, which was good, right, Andrea?
Right. Do you want to start on page 56, though, to kind of refresh?
Yes. So we're talking about, just to let everybody know, we're talking about how Kyle is describing what happened after Tabby was shot.
Yeah, how they carried her body.
and how they were carrying her. So just so everybody knows, before we get going, I am going to present my screen here real quick, because the time is coming for the anniversary for Tabitha's death. We are having a 21st anniversary candlelight vigil on Monday, October 2nd at 5 p.m. And actually that's Central Time, so 6 p.m. Eastern Time in the Tipton City Park. And this is on the Justice for Tabitha Facebook page. All the information is here. You can click on it. And Mark set this up. So we'll be meeting in the Tipton at the Shelter House at 6 p.m. and walk to the gravesite for Tabitha's candle vigil. And that will be on October 2nd.
Which is Monday.
Which is Monday, correct. So that means on Friday, I'm heading to Indiana. I'm pretty sure I have to work a half day. And so after my half day is done, I'll be getting in the vehicle and heading that way so that I am there for the weekend and Monday and coming back on Tuesday.
Coming to your home away from home.
Yes. Definitely seems like it, huh?
I know.
As often as I'm there now. Well, pretty much at least twice a year. Once in the spring, once in the fall.
Somebody's asking what time that is on Monday.
It is at 6 p.m. I will post this on the community page for True Crime with Marv on YouTube.
Mark's posted it all over Facebook, all over the Tipton pages and everything.
Yep. And then, like you said, it's on here. I'll give you the link to the True Crime, or to the Justice for Tabitha site in the chat so that you guys have it. So this is the Facebook page that we created for Tabitha. And the information for the vigil is on there. And in fact, I'm going to pin it right now so that it's in the pinned section. And later tonight, after this live is over, I'm going to be posting a short little live on how to get Tabitha's merchandise. We have Justice for Tabitha shirts that we are selling. So if you would like one of those, Andrea and her sister makes all of our shirts for True Crime with Marv and for the Justice for Tabitha. So let's get started. We have a lot of reading to do again tonight. This fly is driving me crazy. Eventually I'm going to get it. But we're going to kind of backtrack to the previous page that we read so that everybody knows where we left off. I'll be reading the part of Kyle Neff, and Andrea will be reading the law enforcement part, or the attorney part. Are we ready, Andrea?
Yeah.
Okay, so Do you want to go to the very bottom of page 55 and start with the question instead
that's
of
fine.
the answer?
Yep.
Okay.
How long did that feeling threatened go last?
While she was standing there with the gun.
A few seconds?
Probably longer than that. I don't remember exactly how long.
Not very long.
Right.
Now, who walks first?
Liz.
Liz does?
Yes.
Is she walking backwards?
No, she's walking forward.
Are you walking backwards?
No, I'm walking forward.
So you have the Tabby's left leg at that time.
Yes.
And Jonathan's got her right leg.
Yes.
And she's face up. And you're all walking westerly?
Yes.
Okay, and you walk south and west of the roadway? All the way around to the...
It's north and west of the roadway.
Excuse me, you're right. North and west of the roadway, all the way around to the shuffleboard area.
Yes.
You stop there?
We stopped somewhere around here. Around there. I think it's either right before it or a little bit after it. Around a little bit after the bathrooms, maybe.
In the grass?
Yes.
You're not on the Stone Parkway or anything. You're in the grass.
Yes.
You stop?
Yes.
Now, I think at one point you indicated that Jonathan left then.
No, he didn't leave.
If you told somebody that you were mistaken...
I did say that in my first statement, but...
That's what I thought. That wasn't right?
No, I corrected it in the second statement.
Okay, speaking of that, how many times have you read those statements prior to today?
Probably twice.
You went to pick the body up again?
Yes.
Who suggested that you set the body down?
I don't remember who. When we did it, we lit a cigarette. I remember all three of us lit a cigarette when we set it down.
Now, you and Jonathan and Balser smoked one cigarette, or each of you had one cigarette?
We each smoked one.
You've got your own cigarettes?
Yes.
How long does that take?
We smoked, we lit it, and then we picked her back up.
So you're smoking while you're carrying?
Yes.
How does Elizabeth do that with her hands on the...
Do you smoke?
Not anymore.
All right. Well, when you did you ever hold it in your mouth when you're doing something? Hold a cigarette in your mouth?
But I never walked with it.
Well, I've done that.
So all three of you did that?
Yes.
And you walked down to next to the creek?
Uh-huh.
And you went down towards the ball field?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And when you got down by the ball field, did you stop again?
Yes.
How many times between the shuffleboard and the ball field did you stop?
I think we stopped one more time so Liz could get a better grip.
So you had one stop at the... First stop was at the...
Around the shuffleboard area.
Shuffleboard area. Second stop was between that and the...
Ball field, yes.
Ball field. Now, there's a series of trees and roadways and everything that go down there.
Uh-huh.
Anything there that you can identify where you stopped at?
I don't remember exactly where we stopped at.
None at all?
No, I don't.
How about distance from the creek?
What do you mean? How far?
Sure.
From the creek we were?
Uh-huh.
We were probably... Sometimes we were right along the creek bank, and sometimes maybe a few feet away.
Want to show you Exhibit E.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Take a look at that. Is that the area generally that we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, stop. Are you wanting to show the pictures like we did last time?
Oh, crud. That would be helpful. Let me get to them.
Hello, Jill.
Hang on, I'm having some difficulty here. Okay. So this is important that you get a visual, but after my trip to Indiana, everyone will get even a better visual because we are going to do some reenactments while I'm there. Okay. Oh, no.
We don't want the countdown. We done did that.
I gotta stop sharing and reshare. Okay.
You need the picture of the creek bank by the bathrooms and the baseball field.
All right, 1 second. What page are we on, just so I know?
60.
Okay. So they're talking about
Right there.
walking right along either the edge of the creek bank or a couple feet from it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, is that the area generally that we're talking about?
Where
About
are you
3/4 of the way down.
at? Huh?
About 3/4 of the way down.
Oh, I want to show you Exhibit E. Okay.
Right. I said, okay, take a look at that. Is that the area generally that we're talking about?
Yes.
And here's a paper copy of that.
Okay.
Okay. In E, there are some, I think I see stakes down there in the roadway going across.
Yes. Yeah.
How'd you get around those stakes?
Walked right in between them.
Walked between them?
Yes.
Did the body hit any of those stakes?
Not that I recall, no.
Did you have to elevate the body to get it over those stakes?
No, the stakes are distanced apart.
Pardon me?
The stakes are apart from each other. They're...
So you just easily walked in between them?
Yes.
On that picture, okay, do you recall which one of those stakes you walked? I'll call them pillars/stakes, whatever.
I don't recall exactly which one we walked between.
But you're headed in that area.
Yes.
Okay, and your destination is where?
Back over here a little bit out of the way there.
Okay, is that down where they always refer to as the cement area of the creek where the body was found?
Yes.
Let me show you now Exhibit F.
I'm assuming it's this one here. Okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Now, that's in that tree area that you just described in the previous photo.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes, you are.
And is the body anywhere? If it were in the water, would it be depicted in that picture?
Approximately, yes.
Okay.
Probably right around there's where we put it.
Okay.
That's not I just marked on
Let me
sorry.
give you another one to mark on.
I didn't realize it was that.
That's okay. Here, I want you to mark on this one.
Okay.
Okay.
Want me to put an X or?
Sure.
Probably around right here is where we put it.
So you went pretty far out into the creek?
Uh-huh.
Almost over to the other bank?
Yes.
Okay. How'd you get down there?
Walked.
Is there a walkway there?
Little path to get down there, yes.
Okay, I'm going to show you one of the pathways.
Okay.
Okay, this is Exhibit G. Did you go down that way?
If I recall correctly, yes.
Here's another picture of the same area, and that's Exhibit H, showing the tree roots and everything.
Yes.
Okay, now when you went down, how did you negotiate those tree roots? Would have been kind of difficult, wouldn't it?
Not really.
Okay.
It's not hard to walk down there, I don't think.
Okay, you're still out in front, you and Jonathan?
Yes.
Okay.
We're behind them, behind her.
Okay, she's now in front?
She's always been in front.
Okay.
I told you that earlier.
But she's not walking backwards.
No.
I'm having trouble depicting this because if she's got her hands underneath her,
Yeah.
okay, and she's walking forward, it would seem that the feet are forward or she's walking backwards.
She's not walking backwards. She's walking forwards.
That's what I thought.
Her feet are in back.
So you're not in front of her.
She's not standing in front of her. She's standing on the side of her.
She's got both hands underneath her.
Yes.
She's carrying her like this.
Not like that, no. Like around her.
So her legs are over Elizabeth's then left shoulder.
Yes.
Okay, and you and Jonathan are behind with nothing more than carrying a leg each.
Right.
She's doing all the heavy work.
Yes.
So when you get to the entrance to the creek where you put the body,
Uh-huh.
you go down the area where the tree roots are
Yes.
that are depicted in those pictures.
Yes.
Did you have to be careful?
Yes. Probably slid a little bit, I would guess. I don't remember exactly how careful we were, or...
Do you remember those tree roots?
Yes, they've always been there.
And that's the way you went into the creek?
We went right down here. Right down there.
Ms. Duran. Well, what picture is that?
That's...
G.
We went right down the way right here.
And that's the way you went?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Rich. Which one's that? Ms. Duran. E. Mr. Alden. Okay, I'll show you the other side of that tree, and that's in I, but it's kind of more of a drop off there. You didn't go that way?
No, we didn't go that way.
Okay.
I don't even know where that's at. I see that. Right there is this facing north right here.
It'd be east, wouldn't it?
I can't tell exactly where this picture's at. I know we didn't. We were over closer to this.
Okay.
We weren't there.
So you went down the tree root side.
Yes.
No question about that.
No.
You waded out into the creek.
Yes.
And you put the body in the creek.
Yes.
How cold was the water?
I don't remember.
How deep was the water?
Probably knee to thigh, I'd say. I'm not sure exactly how deep it was. I'm guessing it was either up to the knee or thigh, middle thigh area.
Okay, how did the surface below the water feel? I mean, was it hard? Was it mucky? Was it...
I don't remember exactly.
You don't? Did you have shoes on?
Yes.
Did you get wet?
Yes.
Nobody took their shoes off before they went in.
I didn't, and I don't think they did either.
Tell me about the foot thongs that were found at the scene.
Okay, what about them?
Tell me what you know about them.
I don't know much about them.
Okay, were they on her feet when you took her into the creek?
No.
Who took them off?
Elizabeth did.
Well, now you and Jonathan had a hold of her feet.
Yes.
Okay, then did you lay her down before you took her into the creek?
Yes, we did.
Okay, at the area they're depicted in those pictures?
Up on the bank, yes.
And then at that time, did Elizabeth took off her
pants and her purse and went through all that.
Her purse was still hanging on her?
It was, yeah.
All the way across the park?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
She always wore her purse around her neck and...
Okay, you're showing me in a diagonal motion.
Yes.
Where one arm would be through the...
Right.
Purse and it would be slanted over.
Right.
So she took her purse?
Uh-huh.
Took her thongs?
I'm guessing yes.
Took her, by thongs I mean the foot things.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
The pants?
Yes.
Underwear?
I don't remember seeing any underwear.
You took all of these things home, didn't you?
Yes.
You don't remember taking any underwear home?
I don't remember seeing any underwear, no.
Did she have a bra on?
I don't know. I don't remember seeing it.
Okay, so you took pants.
Purse and belt.
Purse and belt.
Yes.
3 items. When did Elizabeth give you those?
In the car over when she took me back to my bike.
When you came up out of the creek, what did you do?
We all ran back towards her car.
You ran back?
Yes. Jogged. Ran. I don't remember exactly how fast we went, but I know we didn't walk back there.
Okay, got to her car. What'd you do?
I got in her car.
Did Jonathan get in her car?
No.
Where'd he go?
He went walking back or jogging back. I don't remember. I didn't see him after he got...
Which direction?
Towards the bridge.
Okay, when did he part from you guys?
When we got to her car.
Okay, so he went all the way back to her car with you.
Yes. That's on the...
And then he ran across the park to the bridge?
Yes, that's on the way to...
Which bridge?
The wooden footbridge, I'm guessing. He might have went to the cement one. I don't remember seeing him cross the bridge. I'm guessing the wooden footbridge because that's where I saw him first.
Now let's think of time.
Okay.
From the time you and Elizabeth entered the park,
Uh-huh.
You saw Tabby in the pavilion.
Yeah.
Parked the car, walked around to the footbridge.
Uh-huh.
Shooting takes place. Carry the body to the place where you walk into the creek.
Yes.
How long did that take?
I'm guessing 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45. I don't remember exactly how long it took.
And nobody else entered the park.
I don't recall seeing anybody else enter the park. There could have been. Like I said before, it's possible.
Well, you're carrying a corpse.
Yeah.
And if somebody entered the park, wouldn't you notice that?
Yeah, when we were walking over by that area.
Uh-huh. You're telling me now that you didn't notice any.
There was nobody when I was walking over in that area, no.
Okay.
Now, when we were over by the ball diamond towards that area, it's possible.
Tell me about the ball diamonds. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Is there any advertising or anything on those fence area that goes around the ball diamond?
There could have been. There usually was.
Well, do you remember any that night?
I did not read any of the advertisements that were on there.
But there were advertisements on there.
Most likely, yes, because there always was.
Okay, that blocks the view from the highway, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, there's a couple rocks. I'll call them semi-boulders right up there at the top of the creek where you say she was undressed. Do you recall those?
I think I know what rocks you're talking about. I'm not positive what rocks I'd have to see them.
Do you remember that area?
I know what area you're at. Yes.
I'm thinking that there's a couple of big rocks right in that area there.
Yes, I've seen them before, yes.
All right. Is that the area where the undressing took place?
I think so. I'd have to see
Okay.
it happened on.
If you will look at the picture.
It happened on the creek bank above here.
Okay, look at picture I. It's rotated.
Yep. Okay.
That's looking up from the creek.
Yes, the steep part. Yep. Okay, this one?
Uh-huh. See that rock at the top up there?
Yes.
Does that refresh your recollection?
I think so. I'm
guessing
it was,
Go ahead.
I'm guessing it was around there. Yes.
Okay, so we're at the same spot when we're talking about that rock there, and the rock is in I.
Uh-huh.
Which is P1010011.jpg.
Okay.
And that's where you entered the creek bed.
Yes.
And that's where you put the body.
Yes.
In the creek, right?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. I'd print that out for you, but we're running out of ink.
Okay.
Okay. After you got out of the creek bed, Elizabeth has the clothes.
Yes.
Elizabeth has the gun. Okay, you go to the car. You get into the car. Jonathan leaves you. What happens then?
She drives me back to my motorcycle.
Which is over across the street at the high school.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And when you get there,
uh-huh,
your motorcycle's there?
Yes.
You just calmly get out of the car?
I get out of the car, yes. I don't know what you mean.
You didn't talk about Ms. Duran. Wait, I'm going to object. I think he wanted to answer in response to your question that he calmly got out of the car. I think Kyle was telling you he got out of the car, but not calmly. Mr. Roberts. Oh, all right.
I got out of the car, sort of rushed to get out of there.
Okay.
Try to get home.
Okay, you were in a hurry?
Yes.
Okay, what happened?
I got the gun back from her to go put up.
How'd you do that?
I told her I needed it back.
And she just reached into her belt, pulled the gun out, and gave it to you?
She pulled it out and she wiped it off and gave it to me, yes.
What'd she wipe it off with?
Tabitha's clothes.
Did she hand it to you?
Yes.
Did she give it to you by the grip first, or how'd she hand it to you?
I don't recall how.
She just gave it to you.
Yes.
What'd you do with it?
I put it in my belt.
Did you think that was kind of dangerous?
No, what do you mean? How would it be dangerous?
Well, your fingerprints are now on it and hers aren't,
Yeah.
if I understand you right.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Did you think about that?
When I took it back to my mom's? Yes.
Did you wipe it off when you took it back to your mom's?
Yes, I cleaned it off. Yes.
Tabitha's clothes. Did you use that to clean it off?
No, I used a towel and Windex.
Okay, when did you do that?
When I got to my mom's house.
When was that?
Right after I left there.
So you went to your mom's house, got the gun, okay,
Uh-huh.
went directly to meet Elizabeth.
Yes.
Okay, went to the park, shooting took place, left, went back to mom's house.
Yes.
Okay, put the gun back where you found it.
Yes.
All 5 casings in it.
I took them out.
You took them.
I reloaded it how it was.
Okay, how was it?
It was loaded when I got it, so I put it back how I got it from her.
Okay, let's talk about that a minute.
Okay.
When you first got the gun, did you check the cylinder to see how many shells were in it?
No.
Then how did you know how many to put back in it?
Because I took it back, there was 5 casings in there.
And was it 5 in the cylinder, or was it a 6 shot?
It was a 5 shot, if I recall correctly.
Okay, if you recall correctly.
Yes.
There were 5 shots.
Okay, timeout. Larry says, who's the investigator asking the questions at this time? This isn't the investigator. This is Jonathan Yates' attorney. Okay. Did you ask the question?
Yes, there were 5 shots.
There were. There were only 3 that were empty, though.
So you took.
The 3 empty ones and put another one back in there.
So you took the 3 empty casings out,
Yes.
put 3 live bullets in.
Yes.
Where'd you get the bullets?
They were around the gun, where the gun was at.
Just a box of them?
Yeah.
Where?
In her closet.
In your mother's closet?
Yes.
In your mother's room?
Yes.
Is that where she kept it?
Yes.
And she wasn't home?
No.
You had a key to the house, apparently.
Yes.
So you put the gun away.
Yes.
And then what'd you do?
I went and got a pack of cigarettes and went home.
Where'd you get the pack of cigarettes?
Gas America, I think. It might have been Clark. I don't know exactly. It was at a gas station.
Well, it's on the other side of town from where your mom's is, isn't it?
Yeah, there's only 3 over there.
Pardon me?
There's 3 gas stations in town. Well, 4, but I never go to Swifty.
So you weren't in a hurry to get home.
I got home pretty quick, yeah.
Okay, after you left the gas station, whichever gas station it was with your cigarettes, what route did you take home?
Piney Road.
Took it all the way to the place where you were living?
Yes.
Okay, that I take it is out by your mother's business?
Yes.
It's the corner of 28 and 31?
Yes.
Were the gas stations open when you got there?
No.
Both of them closed.
Yeah, they were closed at 8 and 9, I think.
Okay, so there wasn't anything open when you got there.
No.
Was your wife home?
Yes.
Did you have any conversation with her?
Yes, we talked.
You weren't married at that time, I take it.
No, we weren't.
What'd you say to her, and what'd she say to you?
I don't know. I don't remember exactly what was said. What?
Just small talk?
Yeah.
You didn't talk about what happened?
No.
Not at all.
No.
How'd you feel then?
Nervous.
Did she ask you why or remark that she saw a difference in you?
I don't know. I don't remember what was all discussed.
Did some people come to your house later on?
Not that night, no.
What night did they come to your house?
Which people?
Well, I've heard, and I think you may be acquainted with some statements that, through the discovery, where some girls say they come to your house.
Yes, there's been a few.
Okay, they came out at about midnight?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Friends of your wife's?
One of them was
Now, who were they?
Amber Heaton, Emily Brown, I think, and Tiffany Boatwright.
All right. That's the 3 I remember.
Okay.
They say they knocked on your door, and you came to the door after several knocks.
Yeah, I don't. It was late.
Okay.
No one comes to my house without calling.
You invited them in?
No, I didn't.
How'd they get in your house?
They told us that one of them had to use the restroom, and Amanda said they could come in.
Okay.
I didn't invite them in.
Did you sit down in the living room?
Probably.
Did you talk about Tabitha being missing?
Yes.
Who brought that up?
I think they did. They asked if she was out here. Out there.
They asked you if she was out at your house?
Yes.
What'd you tell them?
They asked me or Amanda. I don't remember exactly. No is what we told them.
Did you have a chance to review those statements that I'm talking about?
I've read them, yes.
One of the things that I saw that they talked about was a towel or a blanket or something was laying in front of the TV set. Do you recall that?
No, but when Skylar played on the floor, we'd always put him on a blanket.
Okay.
So that's what I'm guessing they're talking about.
Child on the blanket on the floor in front of the TV.
Yes, until he got a little bit older, we didn't let him crawl around on the floor.
And I take it he wasn't up at that time of night.
No, he was in bed. He goes to bed about 8 or 9.
Before you got home?
Yes.
Had your wife been someplace that night?
That day, yes.
Okay, where'd she go?
She went with her dad to the hospital to see her grandma.
And that's out of town?
Yes, it was in Kokomo, I think. If I remember correctly, St. Joe's.
All right. You don't know what time she got home,
I don't know.
but after you got home.
I know from what she's told me, yes. But I wasn't home when she got home.
Now, all of these events in the park took place on the 2nd of October.
Yes, Wednesday, I think.
And they came to your house on Thursday, the 3rd.
No. Yeah, they might have. I don't remember if it was Thursday or Friday. I think it was Thursday.
So the next day.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
And we want to quibble about midnight, whether it's Friday or Thursday.
Right.
But anyway, the next day.
I think it was the next day. It might have been the day after that, because I know the next day I was over. I wasn't home during the whole evening.
Where were you?
I was at Amanda's dad's house.
To Amanda's dad's house.
Yes.
Where's that?
I'm 31.
Now you mean Amanda, your wife?
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
Well, we've been through the park, which I promised Bob I'd do, and then turn it over to him. So
Okay.
I'm going to back off now for now and close this up.
All right.
Ms. Duran, can we take a quick break? Mr. Alden, yeah, sure. Okay.
So they go off record, and then continuation of direct examination. Questions by Mr. Alden.
Okay, Kyle, we're back on the record again. And for the record, my name is Robert Alden. And once again, as I advised you in the original deposition that we took, make sure that you only answer the questions that you know for sure, okay?
Okay.
Now, specifically in the park, when you came in, you indicated that you saw Tabby as soon as you came in the park driving with Liz. Is that correct?
Around then, yes.
When you say around then, what specific part of the park were you in when you saw Tabby?
We were on the road.
Okay, I know you were on the road, but what part of the road?
The north side. The one that runs east and west. The road on the north side that runs east and west. A little bit in the park. I don't know exactly how far, but I know it was.
Okay, you're driving around the north side that runs east and west.
Uh-huh.
And were you more towards the west side or were you more towards the east side?
We were probably close around the middle of that.
Around the middle?
Yeah, around there.
So probably not too far from where the alleged incident took place then. Is that right?
Approximately, yes.
And then you looked into the pavilion and you were able to see a female with curly hair. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
And at this point in time, you did not see a male with her.
No, I didn't.
Is that right?
Right.
And you say that you felt that it was in which portion, that she was on the south end of the park, and Mr. Rich, south end of the pavilion.
Yeah.
Excuse me, south end of the pavilion. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now let me pause here just for a second. Let me ask you this. The deposition was previously taken on April the 29th by me, and you remember that, right?
Yes.
And the reporting service has typed that up and made that available for both myself and your attorney.
Yes.
Did she provide you with a copy of your deposition?
I haven't got a copy yet. No.
You've not read your deposition?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so at this point, you don't know whether every statement that you said in your deposition would be something you'd want to change or not then. Is that right?
Right.
You know that's provided to you so you can sign it.
Yes, I know.
And then change anything that's incorrect.
Right.
Okay, that hasn't been done yet?
No, it hasn't.
Well, in your deposition, when you indicated she was on the south end, I asked you this question. The south end of the pavilion, in the extreme south end, or like on the edge, like I'm on the edge of the room. You said in one of the corners. I said, pardon me? You said in one of the corners. What does that mean?
One of the corners of the pavilion.
One of the corners? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Is there a direction? What does that mean? One of the corners.
There's 4 corners in a pavilion.
Well, what would it be? North, south, east, or west?
The east, southeast. Yeah, southeast corner.
So even though you just said one of the corners in response to Mr. Roberts, you indicated it was the southeast corner.
Yes.
So more specifically, it would be the southeast corner.
Yes.
All right. Now in order, when you're looking through the pavilion and you're on the north side, looking to the southeast corner, you'd have to look basically through almost the entire pavilion to see her. Is that correct?
Yes, I'd have to look through it.
And you said there was a light on inside the pavilion.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So your whole purpose for going to the park is to meet her.
Yes, it is.
So the first thing you want to do is see if she's there. Is that right?
Right.
So now you're going around the road and you see that she's there. And do you continue to keep your eye on her?
Not right then, no. When I was in the car, I didn't like turn around or nothing to keep an eye on her.
Well, did you say anything to Liz?
I think we both saw her about the same time.
Okay. Now see this. The quote, think, unquote thing. This bothers me. Okay? You either know or you don't know. Okay? If you know what happened, then you say what happened.
Okay.
So, and if you tell me that you believe something happened, then you're saying that it probably did. It probably happened, but you don't know for sure.
Okay.
So do you specifically remember saying anything to Liz about identifying her in the pavilion? Yes or no?
Yes. I said I seen her, or I think I seen her.
All right.
Is what I said. Something like that.
And so then you continued. Then what does she do with the car?
She goes and parks it.
And the car is parked where?
On the west side of the park by the shuffleboard courts.
Okay, and now at this point in time, you indicated to Mr. Roberts that you had already rolled this joint.
On the way.
You got out of the car to go down to light it. Is that right?
Yes.
Now tell me everything that's said between you and Liz Balser, if anything was said, from the time that you saw Tabby to the time that you walked down to light this joint.
I know we mentioned I saw her. She saw her too. She told me about John being there. And there was probably more said, but I don't remember any more direct details of the conversation that took place.
And so you've indicated that you walked all the way around the creek bed.
Yes.
And you got over towards the north portion, right?
Yes.
And so in doing so, how far is it from where you parked the car to where the cement bridge is that crosses the swimming pool?
Cement bridge?
Uh-huh.
It's probably, I believe, probably a football field. Like you said, probably about a football field. Maybe a little bit more or maybe a little less. I don't know exactly how far.
When you got out of the car, though, you guys never did yell over to Tabby and say, hey, how you doing? Be right over there with you, or anything like that?
Not right then, no.
Never acknowledged her being there whatsoever?
No.
Tell me exactly what you all talked about as you were going around the creek.
We talked about meeting John. I don't remember exact things that we talked about. I remember talking about meeting John where he's going to be at.
Where did she say he was going to be at?
Over at the footbridge.
Oh, I thought you said earlier that you didn't know he was going to be at the footbridge until he walked out.
Till we walked over there, yeah.
So you just now told me she told you he was going to be there, which is true.
She told me he was going to be there, I guess. You've got me confused.
I don't know how I've got you confused. You're the only one giving the answers. You have the opportunity to just simply answer the questions. Ms. Duran. Actually, and again, I'm not trying to interrupt. Bob, I don't recall Kyle saying that he didn't know John was going to be there until he appeared at the footbridge. Mr. Alden. Okay. Ms. Duran. And my objection would just simply be a misstatement of his testimony. Mr. Alden. All right. Let me ask you this. You've read all your other statements, right?
The ones I've given to police?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Did you ever state in any of those statements that you didn't know John was going to be there?
I never stated to...
Until he walked out from under the footbridge.
I don't remember. I don't remember ever stating conversations we made on the way over there.
I don't think anybody asked you.
Right.
Okay, that's not... So I'm asking you now what your conversation is. That's my question that I'm asking you in this deposition. But I'm also asking you whether you ever made a previous statement at any time when you talked to the police about the fact that you did not know that Yates was in the park until he walked out from the bridge.
No, I did not say that.
So for sure you and Liz were talking about Yates being there, and Liz told you where he was going to be.
I'm pretty sure, yes. I can't give you the exact conversation I had.
You don't have to give me the exact conversation. I just want to know the essence of the facts that were in this conversation.
I'm guessing. I believe that was the essence of the facts. But I cannot tell you exact conversation. What about? When? What we had walking 5 minutes in the park? What conversations we had? I can't tell you exactly what it was because I don't remember.
Well, do you remember going to the park?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know that for sure?
Yeah.
Tell me everything you know for sure. Just everything you know for sure that happened from the time you got to the park until this incident took place. Everything you know for a fact.
Okay.
That couldn't be a probably or maybe or I'm not sure or anything. It's what I know for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Everything
you know for sure.
I know for sure. I know we smoked a joint. I know we met John over there by the footbridge. We called for Tabitha to come over to us. Drew Bush came with her, and Tabitha and Elizabeth got into a fight. Drew went to stop it. Me and John stopped Drew from interfering in it, and Elizabeth shot Tabitha. I know that for a fact.
And you don't know anything else for a fact?
I know where we carried the body. I know about Drew Bush taking off. Liz started chasing her, or chasing him, I mean. What else do you want to know?
I want you to tell me.
I have told you.
So that's all you know for sure then, is that what you're telling me. Mr. Rich, I'm going to object to the continued asking of narrative questions and trying to indicate that Kyle's going to be able to answer those questions and tell you every single fact. If you pose a specific, precise question to him, then he'll be able to answer those. Mr. Alden, all right, well, the only reason I did, Mr. Rich, it's impossible to answer the narrative questions. Mr. Alden, The only reason I did that is because he's telling me he doesn't know. He doesn't know for sure exactly what happened at different times. Now, if he does, then I'll be happy to. Okay, let's start all over again. You left your car. You went down to smoke a joint.
Yes.
Okay, you had a conversation with Liz as you're walking down the creek bed.
I believe so, yes.
So you don't know that for sure then?
I know we talked, yes, but I don't know for sure what we talked about.
You don't know what you talked about?
No.
And you don't have any idea the content of the conversation?
I couldn't tell you, no.
I'm not talking about any, word for word. I'm just talking about the general content of the conversation.
I don't remember every content of the conversation. I told you.
You don't remember any content of the conversation? Ms. Duran, well, again, I'm going to object. That misstates his testimony. He just told you two things that were talked about on the way. Mr. Alden, okay. Ms. Duran, they smoked a joint and about that John was going to be at the footbridge. Mr. Alden, okay. So that is a fact now? You're acknowledging that he's stating that is a fact?
I did state that.
Ms. Duran, if you play back the question, I think that pardon me?
I did state that.
So that is a fact then?
Yes.
It's not maybe or probably, it did happen then, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
She mentioned to me about John being there, and we were going to meet him.
And where were you going to meet him?
Yeah.
Where'd she say?
Over by the footbridge.
And then did anything else happen until you met John over by the footbridge that you remember?
I don't remember anything else happening.
Okay.
I might have lit up a cigarette after I smoked the joint. I don't know if I did or not.
Now, after the incident, I already asked you questions about what happened the last time. You've answered those questions. Now let's go to after Drew ran away, okay?
Okay.
There was confusion, a little bit of confusion with Mr. Roberts as to how the body was being carried by Liz.
Yes.
You indicated she had her sideways. Is that correct?
Not like that, no. On the side of her.
On the side of her?
Yes.
So she's got to have control of her somehow.
Yeah.
Did she have her hand underneath her like that?
Not under the arm.
Not under the arm? It was over the arm?
Over the arm. Yes.
Like that.
And the other hand it was behind the back a little bit more than that.
Behind the back.
Yeah.
Okay, now the other hand is where?
Beside her, on the other side of her back.
Over here like this.
Yeah. And she was standing beside her, not behind her.
So she's standing like this.
Yeah, and her arms under her more. Yes.
And her arm was under her more like that.
Yeah, and so was that one, I think.
This one was more like that.
Yes.
It was more like that.
Yes.
Is this correct?
That's pretty close, yes.
Demonstration? Tell me anything that's different. When you say it's pretty close, tell me anything that's different.
She was on the other side of her.
She was on the other side of her like that?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't remember her head being behind Tabitha's head. I remember it being more upright.
Okay.
But
this right arm was just
It wasn't connected with the other arm. It was behind her back.
Just behind her back, just right at the first area, right?
Well, let me rephrase it. I don't remember exactly if it was connected because I didn't look down there.
Okay.
I just remember it was behind her back.
Mr. Alden. Okay, well, let the record show there's been a demonstration made in front of all parties, and that the way the demonstration was conducted, that the left arm would have gone around of Elizabeth Balser, would have gone around the left shoulder and under the right armpit to the very back right lat. And the right arm would have been supporting the body by the right lat. Is that accurate?
Around there, yes.
Okay.
I don't know I can't be positive exactly where her hands were on her back or nothing through.
All right. But you know for sure she wasn't being carried by her arms.
Her arms?
Or something like that. Is that correct?
Right. Yes.
She didn't have both hands underneath each armpit.
Right.
She didn't have it around the back. She wasn't around her back like this.
No, she wasn't.
Which would put Tabitha's back by Liz's chest.
Right. She wasn't like that.
She wasn't like that.
No.
She didn't have her under her arms.
No.
Where she would have the right hand on the right tricep and the left hand on the left tricep.
No, she wasn't behind her at all or under her.
All right. Now, you said that Liz told you all to help her pick up the body.
Yes.
And did she tell either one of you what portion of the body she wanted you to?
She told us to get her lower body.
Take control of. Pardon me?
She told us to get her lower body.
So she didn't tell you which leg to get control of?
No, she did not.
Who took the leg first, you or John?
I don't remember who took it first.
Tell me how you went about picking up the left leg.
Around her knee area. I used both my hands around the knee area.
So how were you holding the leg up?
About like this.
Okay, with you're showing your two hands
Connected underneath the leg.
connected underneath her right, or excuse me.
Yes, it would have been.
Did you have her right knee or her left knee?
I had her left.
Okay, under her left knee area.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And until you stopped, did you do the cigarette? That's the way you carried
Yes.
the body. Is that right?
Yes.
And you don't remember whether you took a leg first or whether John Yates took a leg first?
I don't remember who took it first.
And do you remember the position of her left leg at the time you took control of it?
It was bent back.
It was bent backwards?
Yes.
Was she almost sitting on it?
Almost. It was little to her side, a little bit, I think. If I remember correctly, it was.
When you're showing to the side, you're suggesting that
To her outer thigh.
maybe she was leaning a little bit to her right?
No, her leg might have been bent out to her outer thigh a little bit.
Her left leg might have been bent out to the
It was bent back.
left side of her body.
Yes,
Okay.
it might have been.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly how her leg was bent.
Now you're starting this trek across the park. Was there a plan as to where the body was going to be dumped?
Over by the wooded area.
And whose idea was that?
Elizabeth.
And you'd been at the park many, many times, right?
Oh, yeah.
Been fishing there?
When I was younger, yes.
Just when you were younger?
Yes.
Didn't fish there like within a year or two before?
I've been thinking about that, and I only remember going down to Morse Reserve, but it's possible. I could have been there. I only remember going down to Morse Reserve.
Why you been thinking about it?
1 second. Because the police asked me about it.
Did you ever read anybody's deposition where there was some discussion about that?
Mike Lips, yes.
What do you recall about his deposition?
He said he took me fishing a couple times, and he said one of the times was in the park. He says he goes there frequently to bait fish.
Okay, so you had not been to the park with Mike Lips for several years, except maybe once?
I never... Several years ago, I used to go with my buddies back when I was a kid. But if I went there with him, it would have been that summer. Before. But I don't recall going there. It's possible. I'm not saying I didn't, but I am only recalling going to Morse Reserve.
Now, where is it you stopped first on the way back to the creek?
To take a break and get a cigarette?
Uh-huh.
In between the shuffleboard courts and the restroom area around there.
And whose idea was that?
I don't remember.
What was the conversation that was taking place between the three of you as you picked up the body and got up to the point where you first rested?
She mentioned where we're going to, maybe. Well, telling us to hurry up, or someone saying hurry up. I remember that. I don't remember who said it or what. I remember hurry up and wanting to hurry. Rush it.
Now, did you or John give any opinion whatsoever regarding her desire to put the body at this location?
Well, we asked why we couldn't just leave it there. And she said, because we need to hide it. But I don't remember when that was said. Right before picking up the body? It was sometime prior to picking up the body.
Before you picked up the body?
Yes.
And so she made that statement, and then that was the end of it.
We need to hide it.
There was no more conversation after that.
No, we didn't argue.
Is that the only place in the creek where a body could be hidden?
Around that area, yes.
Around what area?
The park area. That'd be either go up there or go across 19 behind those trailer courts and like go down that way. But I don't think you'd want to walk the whole field, so.
All right. So, but this is late at night, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're hoping to get out of there before anybody sees you anyway, right?
Yes.
Is that do you know that to be a pretty well-known fishing area where you put the body?
No, I never went there. I always went to Carp Corner.
All right. Court reporter, I'm sorry.
Carp Corner. That was this little area we used to call a place there.
Now, this whole thing took 30 to 40 minutes. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you ran back to the car. Is that right?
Yes.
All three of you did, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Let's go back to where the body was dumped in the creek bed. Okay, you've seen some photographs of that area. Is that correct?
Uh-huh. Yes.
And the photographs accurately are true and accurate representations of the area where you dumped the body. Is that right?
Yes.
At the time the body was being carried, Tabitha had on pants. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you're holding the left leg area, right?
Yes.
And what kind of pants are they?
Black pants.
And she also had on her thongs. Is that correct?
Yes.
And they're right in front of you because you're carrying
The shoes, yes.
sandals, we'll call them.
Yeah, sandals.
And you know that she had on the sandals, right?
Yes.
Now, when you stopped the second time to give Liz apparently an opportunity to get a better grip, was the body just laid down momentarily
Yes.
and then picked right back up again?
Yes, it was.
And what was the location where that happened?
That was after the restrooms, but before those white posts that he was mentioning earlier.
And you remember the restrooms. You remember the white post as landmarks. Is that correct?
Yes, it was before those white posts.
Now, if the body was being carried in the fashion that you were, was Tabitha's head then leaning down? Was it limp and leaning down towards the ground?
Yes. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Or was it supported in any way?
It was leaning down towards the ground. I'm guessing because I didn't see it.
I thought you said that Tabitha or that Liz was in front of you.
She was.
Okay, and you're behind her?
Yes.
You're carrying the body.
Yes.
And you're saying you couldn't see the head.
I didn't look at the head.
What were you looking at?
The ground, pretty much. Looking towards the back of Liz.
So but based upon the way the body was being carried, then are you assuming that the head had to have
Yes.
just down towards the ground?
Yes, I'm assuming that, yes.
The spot where the body was put down, is it a grassy area or is it a cement area?
Grassy area.
And the first area where the body was put down by the shuffleboard courts, that a grassy area or was that a
It was grass.
rocky cement area?
It was grass.
Both? Okay. And the third place where you put the body was put down, was that just right by the edge of the creek?
Yes.
Now all three of you get a hold of the body at that point, right?
Yes.
And whose idea was it to take off the clothes?
Elizabeth's.
And did she explain to you why?
Not at the time, no.
Not at the time?
Not right before, no.
Did she ever explain to you why?
Yes.
What'd she say?
Because she was looking for the Coke.
Looking for the Coke?
Yes.
And have you ever told anybody that up until this deposition?
I don't. I think I told the police if I remember correctly.
In any of your statements, have you ever suggested that before?
I think so. I'm not positive, but
You don't remember. You don't know from reading your statements whether you said or didn't say that?
I don't recall saying. I don't recall reading it, but I believe I did say it. I can't be positive because I don't have it right in front of me, too.
So tell me how the clothes were taken off.
They were taken off by pulled off.
Well, tell me, who laid the body down? Who pulled the clothes off? Whether they were unbuttoned?
Elizabeth pulled the clothes off.
Where were you standing?
Behind her.
Behind Elizabeth.
Right. Yeah. We were about from me to him behind her.
So about 3 feet.
Yeah.
So you could see what was going on.
Yes.
And was she down at her foot end
Yes.
of the body?
Yes.
She was pulling them
Yes.
on the pants to get them off. Is that right?
Yes.
And so then tell me what happened after she pulled the pants off.
She told us to help her carry the body down to the water.
Okay, but as far as anything more that Liz did to the body, that's all she did was just take the pants off. Is that correct?
And her purse, yes.
And did the pants have pockets in them?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't remember for sure.
And you don't remember her checking the pockets then, is that correct?
Right.
Now, in order to take the pants off, did she have to take her shoes off?
Yes.
So where did she put the shoes?
Right beside her.
And so then what was the next instruction, if any?
For us to help her carry the body down to the water.
Now tell me exactly how that body got down in the water.
Picked it up and walked down.
Who picked up what?
I picked up the left leg and Jonathan picked up the right leg and she picked up her upper body.
Same way as before?
I believe so. I think she had the upper body the same way.
And you're now getting down past the roots of the tree.
Yes.
And then what?
We put the body in the water, then leave.
How'd you get the body in the water?
Carried it.
Who walked in first?
Elizabeth.
And then you walked in behind her?
Yes.
And so then you walked, you laid. Was there any conversation at all?
No, not per se, no.
Once again, I want you to just give me the basic content of anything that was said, okay?
Okay.
If you know, then tell me. If you don't know, then...
I don't know if there was or not at the time.
Was there, other than the instructions given to you when the body was first picked up, okay, to be taken to the wooded area of the creek, was there any conversation that took place?
I think John asked her where we were taking her.
I thought you said there had already been instructions as to where that was.
Yeah, on the way over there. That's what I said.
What'd you say?
On the way over to putting it where we put it. Where we put her.
On the way over there, what?
She told us where we were going.
Did you not just previously say that she told you where you were going prior to the time of picking up the body?
No, I didn't. I don't remember saying that.
All right. So is that the only comment that was made that you know of?
There was probably more, but I don't remember what comments were said. No,
Whose idea was it to take the cigarette break?
I don't remember. It might have been mine.
Who had the smokes?
I had some, I think.
Did you share them with
No.
everybody? Had their own smokes?
Yes.
How many did you have?
How many what?
Cigarettes.
I don't know.
Half pack?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
So then you came back up out of the creek and tell me exactly what happened with you and what you saw Elizabeth do.
Elizabeth picked up the...
Mr. Rich, I'm going to object to the framing of that question in narrative fashion because we're going to get into, again, Kyle's going to answer to the best of his ability, but inevitably you're going to leave out things, and then we're going to have a problem with that. Mr. Alden, all right, well, did you walk? Tell me. I'm not going to lead you into what happened. Just tell me what happened. What did you see happen when you walked after you'd left the body? Tell me what you saw happen.
Elizabeth picked up the clothes and we all ran towards the car.
So what clothes did you see her pick up?
Tabitha's.
What pieces? What articles of clothing?
The purse, her pants.
Okay.
And I later saw her belt too.
And she just left the shoes then on the side of the creek. Is that right?
I don't know I didn't see her do anything with the shoes.
Where were the shoes located the last time you saw them?
I believe right next to Elizabeth.
In relation to where the tree is and the roots and where the body was?
Up on the bank.
Was it just right? Was it on top of the bank? Was it down by the roots? Was it?
It was where Elizabeth was undressing her on the bank.
So describe where that is. Was it up above the
roots on the grass?
Above the roots on the grass. Okay.
Yes.
And that's the last time you saw the shoes, right?
Yes.
So Elizabeth grabbed the clothes, and then tell me what happened after that.
We ran towards her car.
Did anybody say anything?
No.
What route did you take to get to her car?
Direct route.
Which would have been what?
Straight through the grass. We crossed one parking lot right in front of the restrooms.
And so John, as Mr. Roberts indicated, he ran then. Would that have been south to the car?
No, north to the car.
Right. Okay. So he ran. Is it directly north or is it northwest?
Directly north.
North to the car. All right. And then what, if anything, was stated at that point is in time?
When we got to the car,
Uh-huh.
John left. I don't remember if he said he's out of here or what. He'll see you later, or what exactly he said, but he left. And me and Elizabeth got in the car and went to my bike.
And the route you took to get to your bike was what? Did she drive out of the park?
Out of the park, you had to get in onto 19 and go about 3 car lengths down and turn into Park Road, I think.
Okay.
If I remember.
Do you go south to Park Road?
You go north to Park Road.
North. Okay.
And then turn right, which would be east.
Uh-huh.
And then go to the other side of the tennis courts and turn south. Right in there was my bike. I parked up next to the fence.
And then what was said? When you got in Elizabeth's car, tell me what your attitude was at that point in time. What were you?
Scared, nervous.
So did you wanted to get out of there, right?
Yeah,
Well, tell me how Elizabeth went about in handling that situation as far as getting the car started, driving out of there, and all that business.
She started it, put it in gear, and sped out of the park.
Did you watch her do that?
Yeah, I was sitting in the passenger seat.
Okay.
I didn't see her put it in gear or nothing, but I know she started it, and you have to put it in gear to drive, so.
Did you watch her start it?
I didn't watch her turn the key, no, but I was sitting in the car when she started it.
Well, before I ask you if you saw her start it, and you said, yeah, I was sitting in the passenger seat, as if, obviously you saw it.
Well.
So now I'm just asking you.
Well, when someone starts the car, you don't have to look at them turning the key or nothing to know someone's starting the car.
Were you looking at her?
I do not recall. I don't remember where I was looking.
Is this a paved road?
Yes.
All right.
The one in the park is, yes.
Did she speed out at it at any high rate of speed or anything like that?
She hurried out of the park, yes.
Is there a gravel lot?
Where we were parked at?
Uh-huh.
It's gravel, yes.
So is there any rock that was spun out from where she was trying to get out so quickly?
I don't remember. I didn't pay attention to that.
So now you're in the car with her, and what, if anything, is said while you're in the car?
I remember getting my helmet, and my key was inside my helmet for my bike. I remember getting that stuff and telling her.
Getting it out of her car?
Huh?
Getting it.
It was in her car, yes.
Okay, your helmet and key to your bike.
Yes.
And where'd you put it in the car?
It was on the seat on my lap when I was in the car.
What'd you do with it when you got out of the car?
Left it on the seat.
All right. And I've already asked you to describe the seats, and you said you have theirs. You can't.
I don't remember.
You don't remember anything about the seats?
No, I don't pay attention to it.
And so you got your helmet and the keys, and then what did either one of you say anything to each other?
I told her I'm going to need my mom's gun back.
Where did this take place, this conversation?
Either right when we got in either on the way or right when we got into the high school parking lot. I don't remember exactly.
What'd she say?
She said all right and wiped it off and gave it to me.
And so between the time you left and the time you got to the location where this conversation took place, you don't remember any other...
I don't remember.
Facts being exchanged, any other words being exchanged?
I don't remember what words.
Any other comments?
I don't remember what all was said.
Do you remember the contents or the essence of anything that was said?
No, I don't.
And so then she gives you the gun. Where did she have the gun during the time that she got in the car to the time that...
I think she had it in her belt, but she might have just had it on her lap underneath her shirt. I don't remember which one it was.
And the entire time from the time that she began carrying the body to the time that she got into the car, her hands were being occupied by carrying Tabby. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you know she didn't have the gun in her hands during that period of time?
Right.
You believe that the gun was inside her waistband at that time?
That's what I believe.
Is that correct?
I didn't... When we were carrying?
She didn't have a holster or anything to carry it in, did she?
No.
Did you see her put it in her pocket or anything like that?
I don't remember where she put it when we were carrying the body. I don't. I didn't see it.
And what was the length of this gun?
It was about that long, if I remember right.
Tucker is being a butt.
Yep,
Do you think that if you hadn't asked her to have the gun back, that she would have kept the gun, or did she want to get rid of the gun, or was there any questions about that?
I didn't have any question about it. I wanted it back.
So you asked for it before she stopped the vehicle, is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Now, what route now then you get out of the car, you get on your bike, and you leave. Is there any other conversation between the two of you?
She asked me to get rid of Tabitha's clothes.
And did she ever tell you to burn the clothes in your fireplace?
Yes.
At what point did she tell you to burn the clothes in your fireplace?
I believe when she handed me the gun, she handed me the clothes too. I think that's when she told me to do that.
Do you remember that definitely happened?
I remember her telling me to do that, yes.
Okay, burn the clothes in the fireplace.
Yes.
Did she tell you to do anything with the gun?
No. I don't recall if she told me to do anything with the gun. I put it back where I got it.
And did you burn the clothes in the fireplace?
No, I didn't.
So what route did you take from when you left the school?
I took 19 to South Street. Well, I went Park Road to 19 to South Street. I went west on South Street till I got to my house, or my road, and turned north on Conde and went to my mom's house.
And you went there specifically to return the gun, right?
Yes.
Now, you've indicated to Mr. Roberts that you believe that there were, well, strike that. In your deposition to me, you indicated you thought that 3 shots were fired, but you only heard 2.
I only remember hearing 2, yes.
And the reasons why you think that there was 3 is because there were 3 empty casings in the revolver. Is that correct?
Yes.
But you also indicated you never did check the revolver to find out if the bullets if there were any empty casings to begin with. Is that correct?
Right. I didn't check it.
But you did indicate that you wanted to put the bullets back in the revolver the same way they were before. Is that right?
Yes.
So is it possible that you had put bullets in the gun that there was when there should have been an empty casing in the gun? Is that correct?
It's possible, yes.
But you specifically wanted to clean the gun off and use Lysol to get that accomplished.
I used Windex.
Windex. Okay. Now, did you know that those bullets were going to be in the closet?
Yes.
How did you know that?
Because I know. I just knew. I lived at that house for 12, all my grown-up life, and I knew what was in the house the majority of the time and what wasn't. I knew.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how I knew, I just did.
So then you headed up and decided to get some cigarettes. Is that right?
I think so, yes.
Well, you indicated to Mr. Roberts that that's exactly what you did.
Okay.
So did you or did you not?
Yeah.
And is the route you took the way to get to your house, or was it not a direct route?
The way I get to my house out at 28 and 31.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of direct routes, yes. The road was closed. I had to go. I don't have a direct route out there. I had to go detour because 28 was closed at the time.
So you got your cigarettes and you went home, and what time did you get home?
I think around 10:45, 10:30, 11, in between. I think around there.
Did you ever call Amanda any time that evening?
Yes, I did.
Now, up to this point in time, you haven't mentioned anything about that, okay? So when did you do that?
Before I went home.
Before you went home.
That's what I believe is when I called her.
Before or after you cleaned the gun?
I don't remember.
But where did you call from?
My mom's house.
Did she answer the phone?
My wife?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
What'd you tell her?
I told her I'd be home in a little bit. I was making sure she was there.
All right. Court reporter, I don't know that I got that last answer.
I said I'd be home in a little bit. I was making sure she was home before I went home.
Where were you going to go if she wasn't home?
Nowhere. I was going to go home anyways.
You were just being a nice husband to let her know that you were on your way?
Yeah. I was needing to know how I needed to go in the house and everything when I went home with wet clothes and all that.
So you were just checking to see if there was an issue?
Yeah.
About going home?
Yes.
And did she have any idea where you were up until this point in time?
What do you mean?
Well, had you told her that you were going to be late?
I didn't talk to her except for that morning. I told her I was going to go ride my bike that evening.
Okay.
After work.
So do you know if she was out looking for you?
No, I don't. I know she wasn't. Yeah. She didn't go driving looking for me.
Okay.
I know from what she's told me.
All right. Well, let's now talk about you getting home. You get home and what happens?
I put my bike up.
You're on your bike. You drive. Is there a driveway?
Yeah, there's a driveway to go into my house, and then there's the parking lot. I have to drive through a parking lot to get to this shed to put my bike up. And I don't think I put my bike up right away. I think I went in and changed clothes before I put my bike up.
How do you put your bike up? When you say you put your bike up?
I have to go put it over in the shed, lock it up.
So you think you just stopped it? You mean like besides a door or something?
I might, yeah, because I have a back door.
And was she, when you went in the house, was she?
She was upstairs with Skylar because Skylar woke up.
Did you know she was going to be upstairs?
No, I figured she would be because Skylar's light was on and he would have been in bed at that time normally.
Okay, well, if she was downstairs and you went in, she would have seen that you had on wet clothes, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you didn't want her to see you had wet clothes on, right?
No, I didn't.
But you went ahead and went in the house anyways.
Yeah.
And so when you went into the house, then what did you do to take care of yourself?
I went and got a pair of jeans, put them on, and
Where did you go?
I don't remember if I went to the laundry room or over to our walk-in closet, which was by the bathroom.
Okay, what'd you?
I went to one of those two rooms and slipped on a pair of jeans and went out and put my bike up.
And did you do anything with your shoes or anything like that?
Kept the same shoes that I had on.
And the same shoes on?
Yeah.
What kind of shoes were they?
I think they were either Starter or Nike.
Tennis shoes?
Yes.
What'd you do with your wet pants?
I took them over to the shed with me.
What'd you do with Tabitha's clothes?
Took them over to the shed.
So you didn't take them into the house?
No.
And her purse was just sitting out on your bike?
It was in the shed, yes. I put it all in the shed.
Right, but before when you went in the house, you just left it on the bike?
Might have put it under my bike.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly.
So then you took all that stuff to the shed, and what'd you do with it in the shed?
I put it in a box of mine.
Did Amanda hear you come in?
I don't know.
Did you yell at her and say, "Hi, how you doing"?
Not right when I walked in, no. Well, after I put my bike up, I did.
And this was at what time of night?
About 10:30.
Okay, and she was just putting Skylar to bed, right?
Skylar woke up, yes.
Skylar woke up when?
Before I got home. After he went to bed. He usually goes to bed about 8, so he had to have waken up.
So then you came in, and was there any conversation between you and Amanda about what you'd each done that day?
Yeah, she asked me what all I did. I told her about going by Dan's and talking to Mandy Amen, and I rode around Hamilton County. I said, and I cruised around in the country, went up to Kokomo and cruised around.
Did you go to Kokomo?
No,
What else did you tell her?
I don't remember what. I remember making up a story where I went that night, yeah.
Well, specifically that night, what did you say you'd done?
Cruised around on my bike in the country.
Just a general statement about cruising?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I do that quite often.
And what'd she tell you that she had done?
She'd been sitting at home all evening waiting for me.
I mean, was that just casual? Did she say, I've just been kind of waiting for you?
She told me about my mom and Marcia stopping by the house when she was home. Mandy and Robbie came by here, and I don't know who else was there when she was home.
Well, did she say anything to you so it was normal for you to come home around 10:45 without ever
Yeah, but prior to.
talking to her? Is that correct?
Yeah, if I was going to be home before 11, I didn't feel I needed to call
Okay.
because she was always worried about me being out after my probation curfew and getting arrested.
And probation curfew was 11?
Yes,
And you know that she had not called around or had been looking for you that day, right?
I think she talked to Mandy and asked Mandy where I'd been,
Okay.
but she didn't.
All right. So now
I think she talked to Dan too.
it's the next day, and what's the first thing that you heard about Tabitha missing?
What's her name? Mike's mother called my house.
Roberta Souders?
Yeah. And asked me if Tabitha was over there.
What time did she call you?
I don't know. I don't know when I finally answered the phone. She was calling me all morning, and I just put my phone on mute in my room. That way I don't have to hear it. And then I think it was probably around 10 when I finally answered the phone. 9 or 10 when Skylar woke up for the day.
And did you finally talk to her then?
Yes.
And what did she say to you, and what did you say to her?
She asked if Tabitha was over at her house, and I told her no. And she asked if she went to the hospital with Amanda, and I told her not that I know of. And she just asked if I knew where she was at.
Did you say you'd seen her?
I said I'd seen her that day, yes.
The day before, on Wednesday.
Yes.
When did you say you saw her?
Up at Village Pantry.
And did you give her any more details?
That I don't remember.
Did you tell her that you'd taken her home from the village pantry?
No, I didn't.
Did you tell her that you had taken her to the village pantry?
No, I didn't.
Did you ever tell her you had been over to her house that evening?
Not that evening, no.
The evening of Wednesday, October the 2nd.
No, I don't remember telling her I was over there that day.
Okay.
I remember telling her I saw her and Drake up at VP and I talked to her.
So essentially, you're saying that you gave her no information about anything you did with Tabitha other than seeing her and Drake at the village pantry.
Talking to her, no.
And what time did you say you talked to Drake and her?
I think I told her around 6.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, I don't remember the exact time I told her. I think 6.
When did Amanda then become aware of the fact that Tabby was gone with this conversation from Roberta?
Yes. Yes.
What was her reaction?
She figured she was out partying or something.
And did you ever tell Amanda that you saw Tabby that day?
Yes.
What time did you tell her you saw her?
I think around 6 or so. I don't remember exact time I said. I told her I saw her.
Well, certainly.
It was the same time I told Roberta.
Whatever time you told Roberta.
Yeah.
That's what you told Amanda.
Yes, I'm guessing 6. I believe 6.
So if Amanda said that you saw her around 3:30 in the afternoon, then that would be way off. Is that right?
I saw Dan around 3:30 in the afternoon.
You saw who?
Dan. And Amanda knows that.
But you're stating that you never told Amanda that you saw Tabby at 3:30
Right.
in the afternoon. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, did you ever talk to your father about where you saw Tabby?
Yes. Well, when?
I don't know. Did you ever talk to him about it?
I've talked to him about it, yes. But when? Around that time or?
On Wednesday, October the 2nd.
I don't think I talked to him Wednesday.
I know you didn't talk to him on Wednesday.
I think I talked to him.
I just want to know if you ever did talk to him and ever did tell him when you last saw Tabby.
Well, when? What time frame?
Anytime, ever, after Tabby's death.
Well, I talked to him that Saturday or something. When Amanda went up for questioning, I called him because my mom was on vacation.
What time did you tell him that you saw Tabby?
I don't recall.
After Roberta called, then who was the next person that called?
I don't remember. I think my mom called me, or I went over there and talked to my mom. One of the two.
And what'd you talk about?
Roberta calling. Yeah, because I asked her why she gave my phone number out. I told her not to, because I recently...
So what did the two of you have any conversation then about it?
Not about this, no. I didn't tell her nothing, no. I just pretty much...
So your conversation was you were just complaining to her about giving out your number to Roberta.
Giving out my phone number, yes.
Then did you talk to Michael?
Yes, he came over that day.
What time did he come over?
Right around 1 or so, I think. I don't remember what time he came over. It was after Amanda went, or it was before Amanda went to work.
And what time?
Amanda went to work at 3:30.
Tell me the conversation you had with Michael.
He asked me if I saw Tabby, and I told him the same thing up at VP because I was walking back from the gas station from getting milk.
Did you ever tell him that you took her to VP?
No.
Did you ever hear from anybody else any stories about Tabby, or did Amanda receive any telephone calls from any of her friends?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about it.
No, I'm talking about now. We're in a time sequence here, okay? We're talking about now on Thursday morning, okay? Now we're talking about Thursday morning. You got your first phone call from Roberta.
Uh-huh.
Then you got Michael coming at 1:30.
I think around 1:30. I believe around 1:30.
Now, in that morning time period, were there other calls that were being made to you or to your house from either Amanda's friends or your friends?
I don't remember. I don't believe so. I don't think that morning, no.
I know that she's had calls from her friends about it, but I don't remember one that morning. No, I remember that evening. That's you. What? Wait a second. 1:44. Well, that's weird. I know that she's had calls. I think that's still supposed to be the answer.
Okay. I know that she's had calls from her friends about it, but I don't remember one that morning, no. I remember that evening. And
So then did Buffy ever call you?
which time?
That morning? That afternoon? That evening?
That evening? That evening she did.
Okay, and what'd you tell her?
Same thing I told Roberta.
So you're saying you never told Buffy that you saw her around 11 p.m.?
No, I didn't.
Now, when Michael came over, he knew that you and Tabby were still friends, right?
Yes.
Why? I mean, why do you think he came to you?
Because Roberta called me that morning, so I'm guessing Roberta told him that she left with me. I'm not. That's why I believe he came to see, or came to me.
But you told me that you didn't tell Roberta that you left with her.
Well, I didn't mean left with her. I meant talk to her that day, is what I meant. Excuse me. Because Roberta called me that morning.
So all he was doing was just asking the same things that Roberta had already asked you.
Yes.
Michael, at this point in time, was not aware of the individual sexual relationships you'd had with Tabby, though. Is that right?
I believe so. I believe he's not aware of it. I don't know. I've never talked to him about it. I never will.
Did you ever tell Michael that Amanda was jealous about you taking Tabby for rides and that you weren't supposed to really be seeing her much anymore?
I don't remember if I told him or not. I don't remember if I told him or Amanda told him or Tabby told him. I don't know who told him.
But you don't remember ever telling him that?
No.
What do you know about the situation at Marsh?
What do you mean? When Amanda talked to her?
When Amanda talked to Tabby?
I went in Marsh to get baby food for Skylar, and I saw Tabitha. She asked me where Amanda was, and I said out in the car. She went out in the car to talk to her, and I came out, and about that time Tabby was leaving.
So Tabby wanted to talk to Amanda?
Yeah, because they got into it prior to that, around, I don't remember how much prior to that, but about a month prior to that, or so, I believe.
Are you sure it wasn't Amanda that wanted to talk to Tabby?
Yes, I'm sure.
And you know that because of what?
Because Tabitha asked me if she could talk to Amanda where Amanda was.
And that was in Marsh, is that right?
Yes. Roberta and Tabitha were in Marsh, and I was walking. They were leaving as I was walking in.
Let's talk about facts again. Is it a fact that these three girls, this Amber Heaton, Emily Brown, and Tiffany Boatwright, came to your house that following night, late?
Yes.
And it's a fact you didn't want to let them in.
Right.
And why didn't you want to let them in?
I didn't know them well enough to let them in my house.
Well, I mean, you knew they were good friends of Amanda's.
Well, they didn't hang out with Amanda the whole time I was with her.
They never did?
No.
Okay.
I knew Amanda's talked about Emily before, but they never hung out with me.
Did you think they were coming over to snoop around, like they were suspicious that you may have been involved in the murder?
I don't know why they came over.
Well,
I know why they came over.
I'm asking what you thought at that time.
What I thought at that time, I thought I didn't want them in my house. I didn't know them well enough for them to come in my house.
Did Amanda have any comment about it? Did she welcome them? Did she say, "Hey, how you doing?" You know?
One of them had to use the restroom.
I understand that, but I'm asking about the way she received them. How did she act with them?
Fine. Normal, I guess. I don't know.
Was Amanda acting friendly and you were acting unfriendly, or what? I'm trying to picture what was going on.
I don't act. They came to my house at midnight.
Right.
I was getting ready to go to bed. I didn't think they had any reason to come to my house without calling. Nobody ever did. And it was sort of odd that they were out there, I thought. And Amanda thought the same thing, but she talked to them, talked to Emily.
Well, did you begin to get the feeling that people were thinking that you may be involved in this somebody?
Yeah,
I mean, you've now had Roberta call.
yeah,
You've had Michael come over.
yeah, I had that feeling.
And did you, I think you've already stated in your deposition here, you still never had any contact with John or Liz then after that. Is that correct?
One time with Liz.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
When was that?
About a month prior after that.
Oh, a month after that?
Yes, around that. Around a month. I don't remember exactly how long after.
Now, were you ever asked that question in your deposition before?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I remember you asking me about John, why I didn't talk to him. I think you did ask me if I remember correctly, but I don't know.
Well, anyway, whatever you said, was it true or not true? Whatever you said before under oath? Ms. Duran. Well, I'm going to.
I don't remember what I said.
Okay.
I don't remember my answer.
Ms. Duran, my objection is, Mr. Alden. Okay, Ms. Duran, we don't know whether the question was asked. Mr. Alden, okay, I don't know. I can't find it right now. Ms. Duran, I don't think it was. Mr. Alden, I can't find it, but Ms. Duran, I think you asked about John only. I don't think you asked about Liz. Mr. Alden, whatever I asked you in your previous deposition, was it the truth or not the truth?
Yes, I told you the truth in the previous deposition.
Now, you're telling me that you talked to Liz a month afterwards?
Yes.
Well, tell me the circumstances and what was said.
She asked me if anybody's been asking me questions and if I got rid of the clothing. I told her that I got rid of the clothing and I was keeping my mouth shut.
And where did this conversation take place?
Over in the parking lot out by Burger King. Carter's Mall parking lot.
And how did you happen to hook up with her?
I was coming in town for something. I don't remember what, but I was coming in town and I saw her when I was in my car.
Okay, so it was just kind of a by chance meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we only talked about 5-10 minutes.
And who was present during this conversation?
I just remember her being there and me.
So you were alone with her then, is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Now, do you remember me ever asking you if you'd ever been alone with her on a one-on-one situation before?
No, I don't.
All right. Now, you had contacted Stephanie, I think you mentioned earlier, about a week into this.
Yes.
Is that right? And she told you not to discuss this with anybody.
Right.
And so, did you discuss it with anybody?
No. What do you mean?
When you said that your attorney told you not to discuss your case with anybody, I'm assuming that she was including Yates and Balser. Is that correct?
I didn't discuss it with anybody.
You just told me you did.
No, I didn't.
Did you not just have a conversation tell me you had a conversation with Liz Balser a month after this incident took place?
Yeah, I did.
Which would have been 3 weeks after you talked to your attorney. So your attorney told you not to discuss it with anybody, but you did anyways. Is that what you're saying now?
I guess. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, other than the conversation that you're saying you had with Liz at this point in time, you had no other conversations with John Yates or Liz Balser ever regarding this offense. Is that right?
Right.
Or Drew Bush. Is that right?
Right. Yes.
Now, the police then began to question you about what happened. Did you go talk to Gary Stout?
Yes.
And what questions did he ask you in regard to your whereabouts?
He questioned me Friday night or Friday morning.
Friday morning?
I believe that's when he questioned me. Me and Amanda and Skylar went up there and asked about our whereabouts, if we seen her, heard from her.
And where did you say you were to him?
What do you mean?
Gary Stout asked you about your whereabouts.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you said he asked you about?
Yes.
What did you say to him
I told.
in response to that question?
Same thing I told Amanda. I was cruising around the country in Hamilton County and Tipton County, Howard County.
Did he take a tape statement from you?
No, he didn't. He was just asking me about who Tabitha's friends were and stuff like that, and what drugs she's done in the past. And
Were you able to give him one person that you were with after 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, October the 2nd? When you say you were cruising around, did you give him names of people you were with?
I don't remember what names I gave him. I told him about people she's hung out with in the past.
Maybe you misunderstood the question. You talked to Gary Stout.
Yeah.
And he asked you your whereabouts.
Yeah.
And you told him you were riding around in the country. Is that correct?
Uh-huh.
Did you give him any names of any individuals who could verify?
Not specific names, no.
Did he ever try to question you after that?
No, because I told him if he had any more questions for me to contact Stephanie.
And do you know if he ever did contact Stephanie to see if you could come in and give another statement?
I don't know.
Did she ever contact you and tell you that she'd been contacted by Gary Stout?
I think she said she contacted Gary Stout or the prosecutor asking about it after I talked to her.
I'm sorry, say again?
I believe that she contacted Gary Stout or the prosecutor. I don't remember who. After I after I talked to her about it right away.
Okay.
I don't know for a fact. I think I remember her saying that.
Did she tell you what she said to them?
She probably did, but I don't remember.
Now, eventually, then you were arrested in this case, and you didn't give any statements for a long time. Is that correct?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, there was a proposal to you for a deal. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what's your first knowledge about any plea offer that was made to you?
All right, 1 second here. Okay. I think since we're getting into the plea deal part, that's a good place to stop.
Okay. I'm marking it then.
Okay.
As soon as I find my pen.
Mother of Dragon, thank you so much for the super sticker. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah, this kind of threw me. How could he see Tabby but not Andrew? You would think he would have seen both of them.
You would have thought he would have seen both of them.
Right.
But I'm telling you, that park was so dark back in 2002. I honestly don't know how he would have made out an individual. He could have seen a silhouette or, of him, but
A shadow.
a shadow, yeah, but not say, oh, yeah, that person's Tabby. Because back then the park was not lit up like it is now.
Right. And this has been one of our main points of contention, is the shirts that she was wearing. Because Larry says, how did all her clothes come off and Debbie's sweatshirt end up on her?
Good question. Good question.
Yeah, nowhere in any statements from Andrew or Kyle does it talk about them putting a hoodie sweat jacket on her. So
We have our thoughts.
we do. Our thoughts are,
Do we discuss?
well, just this little part.
Okay.
We know that Kyle was at Tabitha's house. He was supposed to go and get some drugs. Did he come back and pick her up? And did they go on the bike ride together and do the drugs?
Because here's why we asked that question. Because she left the house at 6:30,
Right.
and nobody knows what her whereabouts were from 6:30 until the time she allegedly went to the park.
Right.
So, did she get cold on
Yeah,
the motorcycle ride? On the motorcycle ride,
and he give her one
And
of
he
his mom's
stops
sweatshirts.
and gives him one of her mom's sweatshirts. Exactly.
Yes, he did testify that the gun was put in her baggy pants. Larry says, okay, this is same BS or close to about the lying BS he pulled when he let some of his friends take the blame for robbing his mom's restaurant. He lied his butt off till a few years after he admitted.
I forgot about that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've known about Tabitha, but I never met Tabitha. Why was the stroller found in between Debbie's house and the park when the baby was at Michael's mom's?
Okay, I've heard about a stroller being found,
Right.
but there's nothing said that has said that it was Tabitha's stroller.
Right. So, Larry, if you have any information on that, I would ask that you please email me at truecrimewithmarv@gmail.com. So, yeah, that's interesting. I did not know about the robbery. So, Andrea, you're going to have to fill me in on that.
Yeah.
Andrea and Mark will. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to make another live for this coming week. So watch the Justice for Tabitha Facebook page and the YouTube channel. I'll be figuring out my schedule here for lives this week, here tonight or tomorrow. But I definitely would like to wrap up this deposition this week.
We're close.
We're getting there. There's a lot of pages.
We knocked out a big chunk tonight.
Yeah, we
a
did.
Big chunk.
We did. Like I said, please watch. I'll make sure that I post the video in the Justice for Tabitha Facebook page and on True Crime with Marv on how to get merchandise for Tabitha's case. $5 of the purchase comes to True Crime with Marv, and $5 goes to the Justice Fund that Mark is hanging on to. So,
And I
I will
just
get you.
I just had a shirt order for 2 last week.
Yeah. So I'll get you prices and colors and all that, and where to send an email to order. And as Mark says, thanks everyone for joining us. And please share these videos to get the word spread about judicial misconduct at a gross level. That is all for tonight. We will see you this coming week with the next part. Thank you and have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.